Hello, everybody. Gabriel Bolint, product manager for LIMSABC, and today I'm going to show you how to handle multiple lab locations within one system and how samples can move between these labs so you can obtain the desired workflow and end result when it comes to billing and reporting. So the final scenario I'm gonna show the first way of handling is very traditional in the sense that you can have regular interfaces between the different labs that are set up in the same system. In this way, we handle each lab as a separate reference lab for the other one. So based on different criteria, we can send order messages from one lab to another, and when that processing is being done, we can then send the results back to the original lab, and then that lab can report back to the physician, can send the data to the billing company. Very straightforward, and the labs would be like any external reference labs, even though they are in the same system. The advantage and disadvantage would be that it will create a new, you will have a new requisition created in the second lab. So if you receive in first lab, then when different tests are being referenced to an additional lab, that lab will receive an HL7 message, a new order will be created, a new reg number, and so on. And at the end, when that order is being completed, it will be sent back via HL7 to the first lab, to the owner lab. Uh, the second way, and this one is more for situations when certain labs cannot perform the testing. This is when the original lab will receive a sample or multiple samples, but they cannot perform the test that is required. The test can be performed in different labs of the same organization within the same system setup. At that point, when the samples are being received and the accession is being completed in our accessioning application, there is nothing that needs to be done on the other labs. The samples will just show up in results review for the other labs. So let's say you receive in lab A, but the sample can be tested based on the instrumentation only in lab B. When you hit complete, at that point, the sample will show up in lab B, and they can run the test there, they can enter the results, and then the requisition will be available in lab B for review and reporting. This is a very simple scenario, and there isn't much to be done. No interfaces, nothing else. And the third scenario, this one allows for a new concept that we have, which is the owner lab, owner department. And this is a new field, a new property that we have on the requisition. And this will allow you to set who's the owner lab versus the performing lab, which is the department that currently is popular and being used in our system. So with this, we have two different fields on the requisition. First one, which is the new one that will determine who owns the requisition, and the second one, which is the original department, which is more of an testing department, right? So with these two different departments on the requisition, you can clearly identify who owns the requisition versus who performs the testing on the requisition. And the who performs the testing on the requisition will be the lab that actually receives the requisition, receives the samples, and completes those samples in accessioning. So you can have one owner lab in the system, and when you complete the testing, the performing lab will be changed based on the department that received the accession. So I'm going to switch quickly to the application and show you. So right now I have, this is the department that I'm in. So if I complete any accessions in this department, this will be the performing department, right? So I can receive an accession, and I can then uh, have a different owner department on that accession. So if I scroll down, we have owner department here, which can be a different department. So how can we use this one? We can use it in different ways, meaning we can use this owner department to brand the report, for example, the headers or the information for the report to be branded. We can use this department to send to the billing information to the billing company. So all of the billing data can be sent based on the owner department. And using the performing department, we can have the report to reflect different disclaimers needed. So you can have a department A that owns the requisition, and then you have a department D that performs. The final report is branded with department A, but the disclaimer will say test performed at department B and all of that information, since we have that. Now, the good thing is this is something that our technical team can set up based on different rules that you can provide to us, or the user can set this manually. So a user can go in here and change, you know what, for this requisition, the owner department is this, even though I'm receiving it in my other department. Now, the way you would receive a requisition in different departments is very simple. So let's say you have a user that creates a requisition in department A, right? At that point, traditionally, users have to be set as the department A for them to be able to see the requisitions in that department. But recently, we've introduced this concept of show all departments. So this will show in accessioning all of the requisitions for the departments that the user has access. So the user in my case right here, I would be able to see requisitions from Fort Lauderdale and from Atlanta departments, even though those requisitions are under that department, meaning that in my case here, if there was a requisition created under Atlanta, I would be able to see it in my grid here in my table, and I would be able to complete the requisition. And what it means that at the point I complete the requisition, my uh, testing department will change from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, just because this is my current department, meaning I'm physically in Fort Lauderdale, but I have received a requisition that is owned by the Atlanta department. So the owner will stay under the Atlanta as long as I don't manually change it, but my testing department would be Fort Lauderdale. So now I can run the test as I'm in Fort Lauderdale, but the owner department will stay as Atlanta on my requisition, and I can actually do the branding of the report, the billing, and everything else as my Atlanta, because we know now which is the department that owns that requisition. So this is an easy way to control that aspect. And this is something that, like I said, we can set up based on different rules automatically, or the user can change manually on this. If you need to have this functionality, uh, billing interfaces, the reports will have to be adjusted to use this owner department for the branding and everything, rather than the analytical department that you can see here, which is the department where the user is physically located and performing his or her job. So I hope this was useful, and I will catch you in the next one.